Welcome, Jonathan Wall, to the podcast. I am so glad that you have taken the time to come.
My pleasure.
I would love for you to share kind of a little bit about yourself and what a little bit of your history is to where you are now.
Wow. Okay. Well, a little bit. I'm not going to go the whole 48 years on you, but the short version, the Cliff Notes version. Yeah, I've been doing marketing for about 20 years. I started literally the turn of the century. Some guy I knew through, I was working at a bar in the evenings, and this DJ came over to me and said, "Oh, I'm thinking about having a website. Do you know anything about building websites?" And I was like, the back of my mind, I'm like, I have no idea. Sorry?
From bartender to websites.
Well, it was that was the evening thing. I had just an evening gig going on the side. And do you know anything about building websites? And I'm thinking, can't be that hard to learn. So I've put a few I lied my way into it, basically. Funnily enough, I saw the business is still going. His business is still going. He's still got the same logo. And this is 20 years on. I'm not saying it's not dated in that time, but unfortunately his website's not the first one, the original one. But yeah, so that was really my baptism of fire, learning how to build a website on your own. And those were the days where we had little animated GIFs with a little ringing sound when you went to the contact page, and little text going back and forth along the top of the page. And it was very cheesy.
Everything in code? But
it was HTML, yeah. It was all HTML. I think I was toying with Flash, but then I kind of gave up because it was just too hard. And fortunately, Flash is no longer a thing, really. I kind of forgotten that one. But yeah, it was all HTML. It was, it was basic. It was only like 5 pages or something. So it wasn't, but it was, obviously it was a learning curve. So you take a book out and you go, well, okay, what does this do? And figuring it all out. But that was good. It was a good experience. But from there, I've done brochures and as in printed catalogs, brochures, done the photography side of things, video, websites, a few, community sites, e-commerce sites. I have designed an ambulance. What else have I done? Yeah, so a varied career, I guess, over the past 20 years. And as you know, now I'm launching the course, which I see so many people who have great ideas and they want to build a business from it. They want their side hustle. Times are changing, times are challenging for a lot of people financially. If you've got that information, you've got those products, you want to get it out to the world. There's 8 billion people out there, and a lot of them are on the website, on the internet. Building a website, getting it out there is definitely a relatively easy win, relatively inexpensive, or it can be. So yeah, my course is really, letting people have that information, which I've kind of taught myself most of it over the 20 years, and just giving them easy step-by-step instructions. Really, it's really kind of a how to get started guide as much as anything, and I'm excited about it. I think it's long overdue.
You should be excited. I'm excited for you. So
thank you. But yeah, it's early days.
Now, out of curiosity, does your marketing abilities kind of come from experience, or did you have schooling for design or anything like that?
No, not at all. I guess I've always been creative. I went to college, did an arts A-level, I think. So when I was 18, my qualification. But no, it really I enjoyed it. That was the one subject at school I enjoyed. I don't think I've ever been very good at it from an art perspective. I really wanted to, one of these days I will find time and I will sit down with my watercolor paints and I will do this landscape that's in my head, and the seascapes and all the other things that I've got on my list of things to do. So yeah, I've always been naturally creative. I think it's just with the marketing side of things, it's having, they say the eye, don't they? But there are just rules of thirds and positioning and colors. It all lends itself, because at the end of the day, how people perceive you, they may not say, if I say good design is design that you don't notice. If someone goes, "Oh, that's ugly," then you've done a bad job, from a design perspective. Yeah. So if it's natural, if it flows, then for me, I've done what I've set out to do, what my client hopefully wants me to do. So yeah, it's just been natural, I guess, finding. And then because obviously the 20 years, design as a whole has changed. And on a continent to continent basis, it changes, because, looking at things your side of the Atlantic, there are definitely some websites which have got more of stateside feel to it, if you like, or a Canadian feel to it. And then you've got more which are maybe more European in some respects. So it's quite interesting seeing that.
It is very
Yeah.
interesting. But but you have clients like on both sides of the pond, don't you? You have clients everywhere.
Currently, well, I've got a few like kind of one man or one woman bands, entrepreneurs stateside. It's funny, I've done some work for Mercedes-Benz over the past few years. And the start of the year, I ditched them and they ditched me. It was kind of a mutual understanding. And then, when was it? Last month? Yeah, last month they came back and they said, we want more, because they'd employed somebody internally to kind of do a lot of what I was doing. And yeah, so now they want me to carry on with that, it's nice. I'm not sure I've got enough time, but it's nice. And obviously, again, trying to focus on the course. Got to focus on the course.
Well,
So,
and your course is perfect timing where I'm concerned, because I really want to help mostly the stay-at-home moms, or, the part-time working moms, that kind of thing. But she's, trying to raise her family and bring in money. I've been there. I've been that mom. And
mhm.
there's a lot of elements to having an online business which are so different from 20 years ago, which, 20 years ago, you built the 5 pages or whatever, but you didn't have to have the marketing that goes with it now, whether it's, here in the States or in the UK. I mean, that the marketing is pretty similar. And so she's going to need to know how to maneuver those, different pieces. And she's already trying to raise those kids, but also she's got product that she's trying to make and produce and sell, trying to, put all the pieces together, I guess you could say. And so I love that your course is coming out and is going to be available for somebody like her. It's not a premium price. Eventually, I know you're going to get there, but we can snag you now.
Yeah, that's always been the intention, really. It's kind of, yes, I offer one-to-one coaching. I wouldn't say it's a premium. I mean, you're talking a couple of $100 a month. My course is $297. There's no secret there. And yes, it's beta launched. It's not perfect. There are lots of fuzzy edges still. A lot of it's in draft, but it's really trying to fine tune it so that it's perfect for if I do charge higher. And yes, probably next year I'll run a paid ad campaign and I will increase the price. But my original plan is, as you said, to get people started. They don't need to spend thousands of dollars or thousands of pounds creating a perfect website, or you don't have to rewrite Facebook or recreate Facebook rather. There are ways to get online. From the marketing perspective, I mean, yeah, in some respects, it has changed, obviously, because we have social media. We did have media before, but things like, television and radio advertising, apart from it being exorbitantly expensive, it was really hard to track how effective it was. Yeah, you can give people an offer code, a discount code, but other than that, it was really hard or a special phone number to call. But apart from that, it was really hard to actually know exactly how well your marketing budget was working for you. So in some respects, it's a lot easier. There is a lot more competition out there. A lot of people doing what I do, doing what everyone does, which is a good thing necessarily. Not necessarily, it's a bad thing to have competition. It reaffirms the fact that what you're trying to do, what you're trying to sell, there is a market for. You think about, you go into a bookstore, the amount of self-help books out there, for example, they're just but people still keep writing them and still keep buying them. Yeah. And it's a personal thing. From a product side of things, from a creator side of things, again, if you're a painter, your painting style is going to be different to somebody else's. Your photography style is going to be different to somebody else's. Yeah. Your sculpture work is going to, again, art is so personal. Yeah. But, it's just really getting those eyes on you, on your product. Now, there are the easier routes, if you like, and just, you can go down the paid advertising, and it doesn't have to be much. It's easy enough to get in front of just a blanket audience of, for example, employed people. You could have employed people, Midwest America. You're going to have some of those people are going to be your target audience potentially. You don't have to pinpoint an audience. I feel like that's another thing, is that people really get het up with finding their niche and honing down onto, okay, this person, yes, from a marketing perspective, it's great to have the language they use and to know the person as an individual if you can. but with regards to the group, because your people will find you. And again, if you're a creator, what you create is going to just wow some people. It's going to amaze some people. Are going to go, some people, and they're not your audience. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. But again, unless they see you, unless they know you exist, they can't make that judgment call.
That's a big thing in marketing right now, is the see you, know you, like you, trust you. And
Yep.
I don't know if you can kind of speak to that a little bit, so if we've got, somebody who's created a website or a shop somewhere, which I do want to ask you about that in a little bit. But if you have somebody who's trying to get out there and be seen, to develop that virtual relationship with people so that people know, what is the best way to do that? Like, would you do videos on social media? Would you do one channel? Would you do, multiples? Like, what is your opinion on that?
The thing is, as you said before, if it's somebody who's working, this is a sideline, it's a little side hustle for them, a little project, they're running a family, maybe they've got a full-time job as well. It's a question of finding the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, in an ideal world, you're on every single social media channel, you're getting 30-second videos, and you're getting 3-minute videos, and you're getting 3-hour videos, or whatever. Yes, you want to be everywhere. You want to be seen on every platform. Realistically, because we're back in the real world, there are some really good short form videos out there. By short form videos, I'm talking about 30-second Instagram reels. TikTok, you don't have to be dancing. So there's a lot of stuff out there which people can do. The most important thing about marketing is consistency. So you need to set yourself up with a habit, if you like. Marketing habit is really important. So if you can afford to spend 5 minutes every day doing marketing, great. You film your 30-second quick tips or your behind the scenes video. This is something I'm currently working on, a little, 360 tour or something. Get your face, because people buy from people. It's not only about the product or your piece of art or whatever you're creating. So get you in a few as well. You could be out for a walk. You could say, saw this tree, talking to camera, saw this tree, inspired me, I'm going to do something about that next week or something. Watch this space, get them to come back to see what you create. But filming those kind of things, literally film it for 30 seconds. That's 4 minutes, 30 seconds of your 5 minutes you've got to then share it to Instagram with a brief description and a couple of hashtags. You've got TikTok, you can do Facebook short stories, you can do YouTube short videos, YouTube Shorts. You've got Pinterest. I can't remember what it's called. Is it Pinterest Ideas, I think? About that, which again, short-form video.
Yep, idea.
Yeah. So you can create this and upload it to all these different platforms. I would say don't share from one to the other, because they're in competition, so they won't like that. But certainly, upload each one, get some nifty music in some if you want, and just, get out there. But keep it consistent. And that's the key. That's where people fall down. If I'm sending stuff out there and it's not getting any likes, if it's not getting any views, that's really disheartening. And that's what stops a lot of people. I've been doing it for a week. What? It's not getting seen. These things take time, so it's just consistency, getting out there, communicating with other people. So if you've got other artists you're following, you can comment on their things, you can like them, if someone else responded, what's this? I don't get this. Then you can maybe offer some suggestions. Make sure your social media profiles are leading people to you. Because if you're making these comments and if you're putting these reels on, the short videos, if people like what they see, they want to check you out. So again, it's the path of least resistance, ways to get to you, to your products, to your courses, to your services as easily as possible. So they check out your bio. There's a Linktree link maybe with, a few different things, or there's another service and it's called My Bio, or just My Bio, that's it. So you can have literally an account with their free account with just, these are my current things I'm working on, my items for sale, and they'll click on that and take them to you. So make sure it's, easy paths to you. That's really important. There's no point, go on.
Those are like amazing tips. Like, where would you recommend kind of getting those videos ready? Like, do you prefer like Adobe, or do you use Canva? Like, is there a certain place that you like to go to?
For short form videos, your smartphone. It's perfect. Most cameras on smartphones are more than sufficient. And again, it's putting up barriers. If we say, go and learn Premiere Pro on Adobe, I remember learning it originally. It took me weeks to get anywhere near half decent. So
Yeah.
again, it's more barriers. Yes, Canva's good. Canva's instant. There is another one. I can't remember. Something else. But a lot of the platforms themselves have got good enough editing tools. You can bring in your text, you can have flashing little GIFs and stuff just to try and get people to wake up from their scroll because they're there scrolling. So something just to stand out a little bit. But, it could be literally a tree blowing in the wind. That might be enough to break somebody out of that hypnosis. So they don't have to be all singing or dancing necessarily, just things which maybe resonate with you, resonate with your ideal customers or clients.
So is the goal to get them ultimately back to your website or your shop? Like, is that, you said
Well,
in your profile, is it ultimately to link them back into one area, one space?
the thing is that people are easily distracted, easily confused. And if they find any form of resistance, mentally speaking, they potentially will give up. Obviously, if it's a work of art which they're in love with, yes, of course, they're gonna do what they can to get more information about it. But most of the time I find people just want a single path. Now, I'm not saying you can't promote multiple things. If you've got a sort of 30-second reel talking about, giving an overview of this product, this piece of art that you're working on, then excuse me, you can maybe tag it. Obviously, if it's products and you've got your online shop set up in a way, you can tag a product and you click on it, it takes you to that product. So it's dead easy. But if it's maybe a collection you're creating, or there's a range of Christmas goods or something, then make it clear how people can get there. Now, it could be that next year we've got Valentine's Day, we've got Mother's Day, we've got Easter. There's a number of different things all around the same time. It's not to say you can't do one day you have something which is aimed at Mother's Day, and one day you have something which is aimed at Easter, and one day just make sure that you have clear paths to where people can buy or find out more information about that specific thing.
Okay.
So yeah, ultimately you're trying to get them. Well, ultimately you want a sale. That's our goal really as marketers and salespeople, because that's what we're trying to do, is get money in.
And that leads me to my next question. I know that Facebook and Instagram have a place where you can set up sales within the platform. I'm not familiar enough with Pinterest yet to know if that is possible. I'm thinking it is, but I don't know for sure. So would you set that up as well, kind of to limit that going to the next place?
I mean, if you think about it from social media's perspective, Facebook, good old Mr. Zuckerberg, he wants you to use his platform as much as possible. He doesn't want you using the rest of the internet. He doesn't care about that. So if you're keeping people solely on that platform, in theory, the algorithm, good old that's the word of the year, I think, is algorithm. But the system is directed at keeping you on their website, because if you're on their website, you yourself as a user are seeing more of their ads. And again, ultimately it's about ads. They're getting paid to run ads. That's what keeps them going. So the longer you stay on their system or a related system, so from Facebook to Instagram potentially, then the better it will be for them, which in turn should be better for you. So yes, if you've got items for sale, put them on Marketplace. They say that having links on Facebook to other sites can work against you, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. We were saying before about you not getting notified about things you actually want to know about on Facebook because it doesn't serve them necessarily. So it's unfortunate. That's the beast that we have to tame. It's it depends on your marketing strategy, I guess. If you are heavily invested time-wise, not only money but time-wise, into Facebook, then yes, use that as you could use that as your primary platform. There is enough on social media for people to easily run a business. You don't need to have our own website necessarily. Yeah, it's there.
Have you on again just to talk about that?
I'll do.
And kind of getting back to your course, I know you do have a spot in your course about creating your own website. Now, do you walk people through that? Like, do you suggest a platform? What is it that you suggest somebody does specifically to the craft world?
The section on the module and the course talks people through literally creating a WordPress website. WordPress.org, not WordPress.com, because that's a blogging site and it's different, but it's named the same because somebody thought that was a good idea. But yeah, it literally takes you through the hosting, the domain name, setting up. The first part is setting up a landing page, so your homepage, and then maybe a sign up form, sign up to my newsletter to get a behind the scenes video, for example, or something of those lines. And then the second part goes into, for this module, it goes into content marketing. And so actually what content you should have on your website, SEO, search engine optimization, ways of finding keywords and things. As to platforms, I mean, if you've got the inclination, definitely try different platforms. You know, a lot of them have got free trials. You can go on there, try Shopify, try Squarespace. Really easy to set up. They, especially Squarespace, some really lovely looking sites out there.
Really?
It's expensive, you know, it's about $20 something per month.
Okay.
I think a lot of times, again, it's a question of priority. You can get set up with a WordPress website for $4 a month. Actually, no, the first 6 months at the moment they've got an offer on, so it's $1. You need $1 to get started with a website. So you've got, $6 for the first 6 months. Or you can get invested into a different platform. What I like about WordPress is supposedly over a third of all websites online at the moment run on WordPress. So obviously it's widely used.
But
oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, it goes up naturally goes up every year, but yes, okay, so over a third of all websites. And we had, Wall Street Journal for a while was on it. I think one of the BBC websites was on it. It's established. It's been around for a fair few years, and it's really malleable. And, if you decide one day you want to add an e-commerce system on it, it'll adapt. If you want to start running courses on it, you can adapt. You can add these things on. So it will grow as you grow. Like I said, on the course, I just start off with a single page, because sometimes just having enough of a presence where people can sign up for more information or ask for your catalog or, just get in touch with somebody is sufficient.
Yeah.
There are loads of platforms. The thing I like about WordPress, you can change, it's yours at the end of the day. Yes, you have to pay for the hosting, but if your host company goes down, so long as you've got backups, then you can take your website and take it to a different company.
Right.
If you invest in Squarespace or Shopify or GoDaddy's own one or whoever else, that company goes or they do something you don't like, you have to rebuild your whole website again. And, that can be hours, if not days or weeks of work. So I like the fact that WordPress, thousands, if not millions of people know how to develop it. So you could go to a freelancer, say, okay, I'm having an issue here. Can you sort that out for me? And then B, it can just, take it from this country to that country. Or, if your focus is more on having an environmentally sound hosting company, then you can change it and find one and it will still work. It's good in that respect.
There are are they called theme builders? The Divi and Elementor in WordPress.
I love Elementor. Again, you try these things out. Some people annoyingly love Divi. I just feel like it's not logical, but that's me. Elementor is literally drag and drop. Unfortunately, Divi is popular as well. But
it is popular, and a lot of the WordPress designers that I have worked with are Divi, but I was frustrated with it, I'll admit. And then I get a mentor, and I'm like, oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
I did notice when I got into Shopify and tried that. I haven't been into Squarespace yet to try that one. And Shopify was running like this, kind of similar to WordPress. It had like $1 a day or $1 a month until November. So I jumped on that. And I did notice that it sets up fairly easy, but it helped to have some sort of background in design. And I think I'm going to actually talk to my son and have him on the podcast sometime, because he set it up. No background in anything. 17-year-old kid just gets in and wants to set up a shop. And I mean, it took him about 2 weeks, but I think having, some sort of, course, something to kind of walk you through how to set up, whether you decided to stay in WordPress or, go to Shopify. I think that's just valuable information to have.
Definitely.
And it just makes everything function easier, kind of like what you're saying with these other platforms. If they just suddenly go bye-bye, what are you going to do with your shop? So,
yeah.
And, I like the fact that WordPress can be easily, converted to an e-commerce. And I do have a question though. So when everybody gets started with their own website and everything, and I don't know if I want to get into SEO now and kind of, step into those deep waters, but it is
SEO's easy, really.
It is, but it's hard to kind of grasp at first. But, okay, can you kind of put it into layman's terms?
Yes, I can. I was waiting for that one. SEO is easy because, if you know, okay, SEO is easy if you know your customer or your client, because it's the topics which you're writing about is in answer to the questions they're asking. It's the things they're looking for in Google. Google has recently released an update. I don't know if you know, it's called something like the helpful update or something. And it's really, the whole point of it is, I've been kind of preaching this to people for years. Give people what they're looking for. The ultimate perfect page as far as Google is concerned is one page, approximately 2,000 words, which has the answers to people's questions on a specific topic. If you go to a website looking for how do I optimize my website for SEO, for example, or for Google, then you want to have all the different sections, different areas of it. Could be pulling information from other websites. It could have a short video on it. So again, different types of media, because some people prefer video, some people prefer text. It's really just, think about a one-stop shop answer for that question. And that's all it is, meeting the people where they are. Yeah, Google is being really clever these days. So in the old days when I started out, you would have a page, and at the very start, you could just put in the same phrase over and over again, and you would rank high on Google because you've got that phrase on Google on your page. So it was easy. And then eventually you had to hide it. So you'd have the text within an image, or it would be white font on a white background. So the people couldn't see it, but it was still there. Unfortunately, those don't work anymore. You get blacklisted really quickly.
I think Google's getting smarter than that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, because their AI is so clever, it can see what is AI generated content. So again, people are saying, oh, this is a really good website. If you haven't got content, you don't know what to write, you can just give this AI bot, robot thing, script thing, your topic, and it will give you content, but Google will see it and know it. So it's got to be real. It's got to be authentic. So it's, again, we're delivering from the heart, from the soul, and trying to help our target audience. That's the best SEO you can do, is to give people what they want.
So
obviously,
do you think video is better over text? Do you think text is better? Do you think both should be on a website?
From an SEO, well, from both actually, yeah, both. I mean, because again, Google is so clever that it can listen to your words and it will know what you're talking about. But some people will, they'll be doing their thing while they'll have a video going in the background, or they'll listen to a podcast while they're doing stuff in the background, or have that on the background while you're doing something. A lot of people have it more accessible. People want things easily. That's really the key. However, I mean, I love just having an article, and I will scroll down, make sure it's laid out properly. The format is key, because some people won't want to read 2,000 words. So you want to have your subheadings which kind of summarize what that topic's about. So if it's about SEO, you think about ways of breaking it down, think about the questions that people are going to be asking, and then you have a paragraph outlining the answer to that question. So there are good ways of formatting a page. So it's not just a 2,000 word monologue, if you like. It's broken up. Yeah, a bit of video in there as well, a bit of variety, some relevant images. Yeah, think about trying to get, I guess, something for everyone in some respects.
And the module in your course, does that kind of walk through how to do good SEO?
You're looking at it.
Practice.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it's pretty much what we've just talked about now. A little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, It goes through finding keywords. Again, you can say, I know my client, I know my customer, but
Yeah.
do you actually know what they're putting into Google? It could be, if you're creating a painting, are they actually going on Google and searching for, I want a landscape painting? Or are they going on there and searching for best ways to decorate a new house? Or, think about their actual needs. It could be that you have an article now about best position for your painting in a house. So think about, what they want as opposed to what you're selling. And again, I think that's a lot of people make this mistake when they're creating a website is, I am this and I do this and I've been doing this for 22 years and it's about me. And it's not about you. It's
Right.
about the person who's coming to your website. They're looking for X, Y, and Z. How can we help them to find those answers? It just so happens you are the person who has X, Y, and Z, so you can meet their needs. But it's really about, what are they looking for? And the module really, goes into, there's certain tools which, yes, you can pay £1,000 for them, but there's also some free options as well. Or there's, you can get 20 keywords as opposed to 500 keywords. But 20, if you've got 20 high value keywords, that's great to start with. And then things like Google Analytics. There's a few tools that Google provide for free, which are great. It gives you such great insights. Sorry, I'm just looking at it now. Hotjar as well. Hotjar isn't really about SEO, but it's kind of a plugin or script, which you can have on a number of different websites, which shows you exactly where your website visitors go on your website, what they're looking at, if they're scrolling down, if they're clicking on things, and it actually shows you a recording of the people. It's really spooky to see. I had somebody last month, I think, I'd sent out an email to my newsletter list, and I could knew exactly who it was because the time they opened the newsletter coincided with this Hotjar recording. So I could see what page she'd gone to. And she went right down to the bottom of the page and then scrolled halfway up and then went down. And it was like 20 seconds. So I got in touch with her and said, was there something you were actually looking for? Because it would look like they were just looking for a piece of information or something. It was really good, really useful. So it's little insights like that. There's a lot out there which is nonsense, but there are some good, there's some diamonds in the rough, if you like, some real quality bits of tools that you don't need huge amounts of knowledge, time to set them up, but they can give you those insights, which you can then, now I can create an article because I know my people are asking for this and this. So you can then meet their needs a lot more easily, which is what SEO is about, really. It's just finding what people are searching for, what people want, and what's popular as well. And then thinking also about where they are in the journey, because you have client intention or visitor intention, whether they're just researching, whether they're actually looking to buy, how far in the journey they are. So we go into that a little bit as well.
And I suppose I should probably tell my listeners, if you don't already know, SEO is search engine optimization. So basically you're trying to get Google's attention, or really like YouTube's attention too, because YouTube is another search engine that you can utilize. But SEO, it is a marketing thing. Like, you do have to know how to do it to get people to your site, to get them where you want. And Jonathan, I think especially with, if you're going to create your own site, just making sure, wouldn't you say, like you were saying with the social media, just showing up, your content, and you don't have to do it every day or, that kind of thing, but just making sure that you are almost like Google knows that you're in there, like doing something and, trying to attract attention, I suppose.
Yeah, totally. I mean, one way obviously is having a blog. I'm personally not a fan of having a blog. You're right in that it shows Google that your website is active, but I feel that sometimes just having maybe 10, 12 article pages, so again, going back to the 2,000 word pages of really, if you like, cornerstone content. So these are the things, the topics which your people are really invested in. These are the things they really want to find out about. And then every week you can go around each of the, or have one per week or one per month, just review it and see, is there something new I can add to it? And we're talking, sizable chunk, not just a few word changes, or adding a new video to it. So it's work in progress, and you're just looking, again, SEO research. Okay, people are asking this question. I'll add that question and answer to my page. That way, obviously, you're getting fresh or updated content, but also you've got those keywords and phrases which people are looking for from an SEO perspective. And yeah, it's, yes, we want Google to see it because we want Google to rank our page highly. If you're on page 2, somebody I spoke to earlier said, what was it? It said, if you're on, what's the best place to hide a dead body? On page 2 of Google. So, because, yeah, nobody goes off. Very rarely do you go. So page 1 of Google, if you're getting these pages and they're, well formatted and they're getting good content, it's up to date, then that's going to be great for your conversions, your sales potentially.
Okay. Now, along that same vein, people need to have a lead magnet to create an email list. And I'm going to be doing another episode on building an email list, but can you kind of speak to that with the lead magnet, creating one with, good SEO. So you've got, attraction for that. I mean, that's obviously going to create, traffic to your site also. But can you kind of speak to that? I know that's also a module on your course too.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. I think sometimes people create newsletter lists or lead magnets as kind of an afterthought, whereas really it should be before you even get your product out there, because you're building an audience. So a lead magnet is really, it's a hook, it's to get interest, it's to get those emails. You want to have something which is going to help people take a step up your journey. So you think about a value ladder, the top of it will be to buy your most expensive masterpiece or to invest in your course. Excuse me. But lower down on the ladder are things which have a lower psychological barrier to them, because it doesn't cost anything to give you my email address, but it's something, it's a step forward. Whereas if I want to buy your mini course, that's $27. So it's a little bit higher up. And then your signature course could be $500. So again, we're talking kind of incremental steps up. So lead magnet is really entry level into that. And it's obviously got to be something which is going to attract people. People go, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. If you're an artist, like I said before, it could be, sign up to get my gallery dates for the next 6 months or upcoming gallery dates. You could think about offering a 10% discount. You could, behind the scenes, I think personally, behind the scenes emails or videos or both is really valuable, because if somebody's investing in art, they probably are investing in art, the artist as well. So I think, again, making that connection on a personal level is really valuable. So once you've got something, then there's not necessarily, yes, you're right, in that lead magnet does lead people to a website, but you don't need to have a website to have a lead magnet. There's services like MailerLite and MailChimp where you can just have a landing page for free. Within that, they can sign up to that. So it's not essential. And that was one of the things I had issues with my course. Do I tell people how to build a landing page in MailerLite or then a website with so it's kind of a similar thing. But if you've got a website, then yes, it makes perfect sense to have a landing page, sign up form, and then with that, they sign up to get your newsletter. It shouldn't end there, because the minute they see you, the minute they're attracted to your lead magnet, that's probably one of the key points when they're most open to buying potentially. So think about a nurture sequence as well. What I say to people is kind of the 3 to 5 days following on, sometimes even longer, following on from that initial lead magnet email update thing, you send them a daily newsletter, not really a newsletter, but it's a daily email, automated sequence, and you just give them a little bit more of an insight. So you could, from a creative perspective, it could be perhaps talking about a gallery exhibit you've had recently, or a whole exhibition, or things you're working on at the moment. You could just highlight a few products, definitely your story, your past, what brought you into doing what you do, and then lead them down to a path where they can buy. And again, thinking about a low value item, probably. It depends, because it's really hard to generalize on these things, because if your art naturally sells for $10,000, then a low ticket item might be $5,000. It's really, as I said, it's really hard to generalize. But initially, you're kind of giving people a route in, and it could be I don't know, maybe you got limited edition prints of something as opposed to an original artwork. So that would be maybe a natural progression from there. And then, yeah, drip feeding every week or every month. You commit to it. You give them that newsletter, because at some point, not everyone's obviously going to want to buy it every single time that newsletter goes out. But at some point, what you say will resonate with them, and they will be in a position where they're thinking about a new piece of art, or they're just had a win on the lottery, or the planets are in alignment and everything fits, and now's the time I can invest. So you're there, your newsletter is there. Oh really, I forgot about Cam, I've realized she's doing that. Yeah, it's just, again, building that consistency, making it a habit. A lot of marketing, I feel, is just, this is what I'm holding myself accountable to do, and I will do this every day, or I will do this every week, and just making sure you keep going, no matter if no one's listening. You do it for you, as opposed to the one person that's listening or the 1,000 people that are listening. So it's a struggle for a lot of people, I think.
Well, and it does help. And that is one thing that I do appreciate with you. For my listeners who don't know, obviously, but we were both in what would you call that? Amy Porterfield had like a 5-day, not a master class, but...
Well, no, it was kind of a boot camp maybe, but it was, again, low ticket offer.
Yeah.
With, again, that's part of her lead magnet. We signed up for a free workshop thing, and then that led into the low price boot camp, and then she upsold us from there. So
but that's how Jonathan and I connected, and you created this amazing Facebook group and has kept a lot of us accountable who was in that boot camp. And that's very helpful. And I
was very cheeky doing it, to be honest.
Well,
it was a golden opportunity.
We're all in there for a reason. And, we have, like, you created the Facebook group, the community, and it helps keep us accountable. I mean, we keep tabs on each other. We're able to network with each other. There was also another member that created a whole spreadsheet out of people who wanted to do podcasts and was willing to be interviewed, wanted to start a podcast, had one, needed, so there was all of that. So in all of this, the marketing, the networking, all of it, I think it helps just to have somebody to keep you accountable, but also to have that community and know, like, yeah, we're all doing different things, but we're all trying to ultimately get to the same finish line. It's all going to be different.
It's the journey, because I think, and a lot of people, I hear this from a lot of people, is that I tell my partner this and they'll nod and they go, but they have no idea. Or I'll talk about lead magnets to my friend and he'll be like, it's not the same. It's a different world. It really is. Yeah, I think we're all on the same journey, and some people are further ahead. Some people have been doing it for years. Some people it's brand new, and sometimes the people who are brand new can bring new insights. It's a fresh pair of eyes. So I think everybody's got something valuable to offer.
Yeah.
But it's really, that accountability is key, because I do see a number of people out there who have great ideas, really super services, and it's just the fact that it does get a little bit lonely sometimes.
Yeah.
You're trying to promote to an audience which you can't see a lot of the time, and that accountability, that's something I'm doing initially as part of my course for next year. I will probably offer that as kind of an upsell, so as a bolt-on, if you like, having one-to-one, or not one-to-one, but a group session maybe once a week, just to hold people accountable, to answer any questions they have as we move forward. But it's really valuable to find those people.
Yeah, I think you'd be amazing at it. So I definitely enjoy being in the community. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Wouldn't have the podcast if it wasn't for you. So, and it is hard, and it does get lonely, and trying to be present and make sure that you have content and that it's something that people can rely on, and it does take work. And so, but it's all part of being virtual too, and this remote, wonderful internet that we're now all a part of. And if people want to build an online business, whether it's crafting or whatever, it will take effort to, it's kind of like, I liken it to, instead of loading all of your product up into the vehicle, driving to the show, setting up all of your product so that people can walk by and either buy it or not buy it, it's similar to that. It's just here you can basically do everything in your pajamas.
Yeah.
And you don't always have to tear down and, move and pack up and set everything up. You can have it all set out. So it's just trying to figure out how to do that the best way possible that's going to work. So that hopefully is what this podcast does for people.
Yeah, no, it's good. The thing is, as you said, that, you have that social interaction when you go to a craft fair or you have an exhibition. It's that even if you don't see even if you don't speak to anyone, you still see something. And again, it's that validation, isn't it? And to know that we're doing okay, what we're putting out there is liked or appreciated or approved of, if you like. So that's the one area which is really challenging for people, because you're putting out stuff out there and you think it's the best thing you've ever done, but nobody's clicking on it or nobody's liking it or nobody's buying it. So that can be really challenging, I think.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. Well, I want to get eyes on your course. I think that it's going to be amazing, and I appreciate you coming on so much. Thank you for taking the time to come on, and hopefully I can have you back and you can kind of elaborate on where the course is going and some more modules, because we didn't even get through a quarter of your modules, I think.
There's 10 modules to start with. So I think at the moment, as you know, it's in beta launch. So it's very jagged, a little bit rough around the edges.
Jump on it now, people.
Yes. Yeah, getting quick before it's perfect and doubles in price. But I've got a couple of bonuses, which I'm going to be working on. So things like adding an e-commerce store, a launch process as well. So if you're getting a big exhibition ready or you're going to create a course, then there's certain things which, you don't just open doors and say, oh, look, buy this. It's a natural process. It's a nurture, going back to nurturing. It's kind of a nurture sequence into a launch. So go through that a little bit. And then course creation as well. If people are looking to teach their own skills online in some shape or form, then again, going through WordPress. Sorry.
Do you have a waiting list for the e-commerce module?
I've had a few people who are interested. I'm just trying to get the main course, I won't say finished, because I think it's going to be a work in progress for some time, but getting it to a stage where I'm happy for it to go live in the spring, as in proper official course. Yep. So that's really got to be my focus for now. But yeah, there's a number of people, because again, you think about drop shipping. If you're, like you were saying before, if you've got somebody who's looking after family, has a full-time job and wants to earn money, something like drop shipping is a perfect opportunity. So you could have, we were talking before, $1 to set up a website. You don't even need any stock. You could just have these designs, use a drop shipping company. You've got products that you can sell and you can earn, however many dollars per item. So there's some really good ways out there where, yes, you need to work on it. It takes time and energy, but for practically no money whatsoever, you can start a business and you can earn money. It's not a make money while you sleep thing by any means. I don't think that truly exists, but there are easier ways of making money than, working 9 to 5 or working in a factory or whatever. So it's an option there.
Well, definitely tell people where to find you and your course, and I will be sure to link it in the show notes.
Thank you. The course, the website's thebuildhub.net, and the course that this is my whole build and grow, it's called. It's to literally build and grow your online business. It's thebuildhub.net/build. So nice and easy, again, path of least resistance, making it nice and easy for people to find me.
Love it. Thanks again, Jonathan. I appreciate you coming on so much. And
thank you.
I will see you soon in the community. So.
Yes, indeed. Very soon.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.